How's it going, YouTube? It's Lucas here from DD25 channel with part 2 of the build series, I guess. As you can tell by the first video, I was not following the instructions very well. And I intend to kind of change that. By that I mean probably not at all. So, now what I'm going to do is just assemble the drive shafts and outputs. Because I have nothing better to do currently. So, when I actually figured out what this is supposed to do, I figured out this was the best tool ever created. Actually, I'm going to put the belt right here. Because normally, it's aligning this. Actually, I don't know if this is the right side. And it would... Okay. So then this goes on here. Normally, what you do is try to cram this into here without using this thing. But what you can do is attempt to do this. There, much better. It's a lot easier than using a pair of pliers like I've been doing for the past however long I've had my RC. About 6 years. So, for the past 6 years, I had no idea that is how you do this. Of course, I've never actually had the piece to do this either. Also, if you can't tell, I'm not really recording this in separate sessions. Even though I might, because I'm actually getting kind of hungry. Do this the opposite way. There. That's the front assembled. Which means I also need to do that with the rears. Which I think all of the outputs are the same. Between the front and the rears. Yeah. If there is a difference, I would be very mistaken, because that doesn't seem like something that would really change. Oops. Actually, I should be showing a lot more of this, because I kind of haven't been, apparently. And also, if you can't tell, this is, well, a part 2, and this is being uploaded tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, as in not today, because the next day after yesterday's video. Whatever. I'll try to remember how that went. Alright, well, that's the front and rear drive shafts assembled. Well, the front, I think those are actually, yeah, those are the front outputs and outputs. I'm going to do the same thing for this, which is very boring, and I'm assuming nobody is watching this. Also, if you don't know why I'm randomly assembling a Traxxas 4-Tech, is I have a video that was 2 days ago explaining what is happening with this project. Except one more thing that I haven't yet said, is that I have found a new thing that is happening with this. That's those finished. I'm gonna put those as fronts and these as rears. A new thing that is happening with this particular car after I'm finished assembling it, and I actually get it working in its street-going form, is that this is going to be I'm basically going to be transforming it into a two-wheel drive, or four-wheel drive if I actually get the parts. A buggy. That should be actually not that difficult, because the spacing of the the kingpin holders is about the same as a Traxxas two-wheel drive front A-arms. Has like the same spacing, except on the Traxxas two-wheel drive A-arms, or front A-arms, I'm going to have to sand down a little bit on the kingpin thing so I can get it to actually work. But that would increase the total A-arm length of about 2, so it'd be 2 of these, so basically it would be a lot wider. Also, I have some tires that might be able to fit on there too. So, this thing is going to, well, after I get it again in its street-going form, is going to be a race buggy. Well, not entirely. I'm sure I'll try to make it work, and if it doesn't, then I'll have to, well, revert it back to its original form. But either way, I would have to get the extended drive shafts and probably cut those down a little bit, but get the regular sized drive shafts, which I have a bunch of those. And that's kind of annoying. My music keeps changing. Well, I haven't been using the instructions. I'm just going to put those over there because I have taken the car apart, and it is fairly simple, actually, how it goes together. That said, this is the entire back assembly, or the rear-wheel drive section. As you can see, I didn't know how to take this apart, and I forgot that I had the instruction manual when I tried to do this, and I sheared off the U-joints. So, I had to get new ones of these, and I already have those incoming. I also have E-clips on here, or C-clips, whatever those would be called. So, hopefully I should have those, which means I can't actually take this apart. Well, I can't have it working without having the U-joints. So, I guess I'll finagle with the U-joints or with the C-clips, try to get those undone so I can actually install the U-joints. They're supposed to go on here, and I don't entirely know what I'm supposed to do to actually get those off, because they're kind of annoying. So I'm just going to use this and hope that it somewhat works. And that worked actually very well. That's that free. So, I guess the fronts will actually work on the rears. That is not entirely what I expected. So that's that done. So I guess I'll install the rear ones. Taking off the E-clips. This is a very difficult process. Unless if I just don't have the right tools to actually get these off, in which that wouldn't be surprising. Ow. And that's not yet off, apparently. There. Now I can install this on the in here, or push out the ball bearing, whichever one works first. Actually, where is the grease for this particular part? I didn't know that was how that went. Oh. I should actually pay attention to this thing. But I am going to put whatever grease you're actually supposed to put on the bearings, or whatever those are called. Bushings. Apply a lubricant, such as the 3-in-1 oil. Sure. I'll just take their word for it. I can assume silicone oil probably is the right thing. So I'm just going to use thrust bearing grease. Or whatever that's actually supposed to be. Even though this stuff is kind of disgusting. Also, again, if people notice what is playing in the background, which shouldn't be very difficult to figure out, that would be a combination, I guess, of Deuce and Hollywood Undead. And some people might be saying that I shouldn't be listening to such music. But what I say to that is, I don't care. Also, that is kind of interesting. You can adjust the angle of where the drive shaft is supposed to come out, like this. I had no idea. I'm just gonna set that to be rearmost, and yeah. So, I can put this in here without the ball bearing, or not the ball bearing, the bearing, whatever this thing's called, not falling out, and install the E-clip. Oops. Well, that happened. I'll have to clean that up before I start recording the next video. Which I don't actually know how much time there is left on this video. 12 minutes. Alright, well, I didn't get very far on this, but